You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here for Drakewing Gaming. It's something on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with Let's Play episode of Soulcreek, The Whispers of Carmine. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go! Loken didn't go quietly. He whined, running into my arms and clutching me tightly. I petted his head soothingly. Wait with Taki, Loken. He wasn't blind to the sense either. His wit was strong. That'd make him a great black runner one day. It took me a while to pry him from me, but he begrudgingly followed Taki away from the clan and out of sight. Behind me, Zhana tapped her cane on the ground. "Walk with me," she smiled sweetly. I followed. She led the way further into the village. I watched her move, keenly eyeing the strained limp of her step and listening to the crude jingle of her bone trinkets. I couldn't quite place her age, but I gathered her to have many years on Goyen. She said nothing. There was only the sound of our crisp footsteps in the snow. I moved slowly to match her feeble pace. Around us, pale oxtail eyes followed. They kept their distance, some daring to show their fangs in warning. I ignored it all. 1 second, y'all. Let me make sure that no one's outside the door right now. Okay, I'm making sure my girl didn't need help getting in. I ignored it all. "If you don't mind me asking," I began, watching Zhana very closely, "your people are far removed from the other clans. I value solitude as much as any other Black Runner, but why the isolation?" Zhana sighed. "When I was young, we were nomadic people. There was a time when we pledged to join our clan with the greatest chieftain the Layla has ever seen. Drosa. Were you aware that Drosa had been dead for quite some time?" "I wasn't. I'm sorry to hear that. Who stands in her place?" "Her son, Garrick." He was a sweetling babe when I last saw him." The wind picked up. A cold shiver ran down my spine. It was a deeply familiar sensation, one of peril. I looked around, alert, but saw nothing to garner caution just yet. Zhana continued, oblivious. "The bickering and braying of the clans were too much. We had no stake in Drosa's wars. We only want peace. Drosa was reluctant to grant it, so we took it ourselves." She came to a stop right by an open clearing in the woods. Beyond, I spotted several other structures that seemed abandoned, nestling shyly behind a clearing of trees stripped bare by the bitter winter. "Tell me why you've come, Slayer." I couldn't take my eyes off the clearing. The cold shiver was back. The wound in my gut stirred. Something sour lurked here. "Informed people have been seen near your clan. Quite a number." Zhana was dismissive. "They're common, no?" The Black Zones are chaos. The Black Zones are chaos. There's no order to their nature. When a pattern forms, it means something. Zhana didn't reply. Have you seen any?" "They'd appear as bipeds, but cursed beyond sense." It's like, water time. Zhana gestured to the clearing before us. "Look," she said. "Look closely." Uneasy, I did so. Broken branches swayed in the bitter wind. "What am I supposed to see?" "Keep watching." I did so. The dim light faded from the overcast sky. Beyond the forest, the lonely wooden structures melted into the darkness. One in particular stood out. A barn, locked and isolated. I looked closer. A distant, muffled groaning suffocated my thoughts. There it was. We were standing right on the precipice of the Black Zone. I could never mistake the sensation. A chill that trickles like venom into the soul. If one step within, the mind is drowned by a thick darkness that rises with oppressive currents and haunting whirlpools. The Black Zone listens and mocks. Every whisper is a scream. Every step is a desperate fumble. I glared in horror. It was too absurd and unlikely to fathom. Alira had been right. The Oxtail clan had indeed built their entire village on the edge of this very Black Zone. Some structures even sat within it. That a chieftain of Zhana's supposed wisdom could make such a blunder was beyond me. No, it didn't make sense. This had to be more than just a simple mistake. "Zhana," I whispered. "Did you know?" I stepped away from the Black Zone, signaling for her to do the same. "Oh, Slayer." She just smiled, waving off my concern with a lazy hand gesture. "I'm aware." I failed to accept it. She couldn't have allowed it. Surely she just misunderstood. "Zhana, you see those buildings there?" I point to the barns situated within the Black Zone. "They're inside the Black Zone. The negative ones have free access to your people." Her response only served to baffle me further. But we have access to them. She wore a fearlessness that perturbed me. I scowled. Do you not understand what I am saying? Zhana nodded slowly. It was a simple mistake, made long ago. Then we act fast. We'll relocate these people tonight. I'll stay to help. No. Zhana shook her head. You misunderstand. We're staying right here where we are. You're allowing this? I am. I allowed a glimpse of my fangs. She wasn't misinformed. She was deluded beyond sense. Explain yourself! But Zhana just stepped around me, her staff tapping calmly on the ground, and began a slow march into the black zone. Stop! I cried, rushing into her path to stop her. She held up a hand to halt me. You've taken the life of a negative one. Did you understand it? My lack of action in that moment was foolish, but I feared losing the opportunity to investigate what twisted logic lay at the heart of Zana's delusion. So I took a deep breath. I calmed myself. Do you care for your people? Zhana nodded. More than the wide world. Then you understand why we have to get them out. Now! No. Zhana snapped at me. Absolutely not. The Ensouled do not leave these grounds. Ugh. Goodness, my thirst right now is insatiable. Unquenchable. The what? Every one of us is blessed by an angel's touch. Angel? I've not heard that word. Her head slowly twisted around, her eyes locked onto a particular wooden cottage back in the safety of her village. Torches lined the walls, each flickering in the dying dusk. On the door was a thick, rusted chain, a lock to keep people out, or keep something in. Zhana. My hand went to my blade. What's in there? My children, she uttered, the words falling from her mouth like stones. Her eyes fluttered shut and she shuddered. She was struck suddenly by some torrent of emotion. They came back from the Black Zone. They're informed? I marched around to her front and blocked her view to try and command her attention. Zhana, were they informed? She only continued to stare, her gaze penetrating straight through me. Yes. She hissed the word, her lips utterly still. I watched a single tear form in her eye, then trickle down her cheek. Many were that night. I thought then that I understood. This was just the fallout of Zana's grief, the loss of her children, her people, the pain of watching them turn mindless and insane. But I was wrong. I bent down to one knee, taking Zana's hand in my own and holding it. I'm sorry, I said calmly, meeting her dead stare with my own. I'm sorry this happened, but your village is halfway inside a Black Zone. So long as you stay here, it will happen again. The Black Zones do not discriminate. I pause, assuring myself that honesty was the best medicine to this tragedy. They can't be saved, Zhana. I'll give them peace. Peace? The way her glare locked suddenly onto me like a viper striking its prey unnerved me. I flinched. You've come to murder my children, Slayer? My people? To be informed is no life. She doesn't reply. I'm here to help. There was a long, aggressive pause. Zhana finally only smiled. Did it sing to you? I'm sorry? As you cast its metal body down, did you hear it sing? She waited for an answer, eyes full of hope. I had no answer for her, only a blank, bewildered stare. No? Then I pity you. She sighed in sympathy, patting my hand that was atop hers. I pulled away and stood up. Zana's gaze had turned sour. I was no longer welcome here. She advanced on me, the sad glow to her eyes slowly catching fire. Now, a steadfast inferno of fury burned behind them. Oh god, this cold water is so good, y'all. You and all the ignorant should be content to let us slip between the cracks, but to intrude on our solitude, our peace, to wish death on our singers, our children, and mark that as compassion, that won't be forgiven. I saw it then. What ailed her was more than simple delusion. It was a deranged, violent madness that bled from her as blood from an open wound. The painful truth dawned on me. You've been exposing your people to the Black Zones, deliberately. Tell me it isn't true. It is true. And the others? Those missing? Who turned up informed? Your work? Yes. My work. I wasn't sure what action to take. As Black Runners, we decide our own paths. Are we protectors? Explorers? Navigators? I never imagined meeting one who'd placed their people in the path of the Blackstones by choice. Such a thing was beyond imagining. Was I to arrest her? Kill her? Reason with her? Then I saw Zhana's people gathering. Angry, hostile faces bleeding through the dark. Too many to count. I was surrounded, caught between them and the border of the Blackstone. I saw the same madness in their eyes, too. That sickness I'd observed. I knew its cause now. They'd been drowned in the Blackstone for too long. Some depraved psychosis had twisted this place into a cult of insanity. I withdrew my blade. I was outnumbered, many to one, but Zhana stood right before me, unarmed, an easy target. These people would surely hang on to her every twisted word with depraved desperation. I could have ended it there by cutting the old woman's throat, but naivety stayed my hand. This isn't solitude, Zhana. Do you not have eyes and ears in the heart of every clan? She looked at my blade, then back to me. There are no measures I won't take to keep my people safe. Why? For the music. Zhana pleaded desperately with me. Have you listened? Listen to what? The wailing of the informed? That isn't music! It's meaningless! I pointed the tip of my blade at Zhana's face. Immediately her followers, no, her cultists, started to charge forwards in alarm to save their leader. Zhana held a hand to stay their fury. They froze. I shook my head, furious. You've done this to your people! Robbed them of their senses! They're no less puppets on your string than you are to the ocean! I should cut them free and spare them! She stared down my blade, fearless. That would be a mistake. You should not have come, Slayer. You cannot leave. She was right. I shouldn't have come, but not for my sake. Loken was hiding nearby. For all I cared, they could kill me so long as the boy escaped with his life. But should I make that bargain? No. Zhana's insanity clearly lacked all ends. She couldn't know where my heart lies, for she'd strike it without hesitation. As on cue, a fox in Zhana's clan jogged over and joined the circle of cultists surrounding us. The boy is gone, she blurted. So is the badger. While Zhana's brow creased in disappointment, mine flexed in triumph. There it was. Loken was safe. Thank all the gods for Taki having the senses to lead him far from here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!